Hi friends, Shashwat here. I'm back again with Lockdown Diaries. This is my attempt to talk about my experiences and thoughts as we live through these quarantine days. Yeah, so this was just another day for me. Yeah, a little bit different because if you can see, I'm formally attired. After many days, there was a official con call, and I had to kind of dress up and uh, groom myself a little bit because it was meant to be a little more formal. So these are interesting. Now we are trying to get accustomed to these things in life where if there's a formal call you have to behave in a certain manner, if it's an informal call you have to behave in that certain else manner. Especially considering now how much days we are trapped, we have no clue. So I guess these kind of things will become a part and parcel of our life, right? So if there's something important, you dress up and you do that and you quieten the whole place up, and if it's okay, then you can be relaxed about that. So what's the latest happening? There's a lot of news happening across India. The biggest news that, forget India right now for a moment, the biggest news that was a shocker was the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Boris Johnson, being wheeled into the ICU yesterday night. It came as a ton of bricks, especially because if the Prime Minister of a country he's not secure and he's vulnerable to COVID, what hope does the normal populace have? So those, it sends a very negative kind of a image to all the people around the globe. Yeah, on the other hand, in Europe itself, you have a lot of positive things happening in Spain and Italy. At least the pandemic is kind of panning out. It's, as a lot of experts are saying, that it's a peak. It's peaking at the right time. So you have those scenarios. Back in India, the story is getting worse by the day. There are a lot of actions and measures being taken by the government, start from financing to everything. The MPLAD funds have been disallowed for 2020 till 2020, which has created a lot of hue and cry, which I don't really understand. One thing, frankly, if you see Parliament, the Lok Sabha has the maximum number of crorpatis, right? They spend crores and crores of rupees to get elected, and they are crying over a couple of crores that they were allocated every year for the MPLADS fund. And this fact of the matter is, they were not using it completely as well all this time. There have been a lot of issues, that the way their discretionary power, the way they use it, the way they don't use it, and yet when it's taken away from them, look at the way they are reacting. Across the country, you have corporates, you have individuals who are giving away their salaries. Some corporates, a whole bunch of them are giving away day's salary and contributing it to the PM Cares Fund. There are a whole lot of other people contributing in their own manner, but they are taking pay cuts. Lot of companies have announced pay cuts across the board, and here are respected MPs and all. They have taken a 30% pay cut, and they're still not too gung-ho about it. You have seen a lot of actors and businessmen announce hundreds and couple of 100 crores donations, but I haven't come across any MPs making those kind of donations, especially in the light that these MPs are super rich, huh? So this becomes we seem to be living on two different zones. And also, talking about the India thing, did you see that film that has been released today? Those all the top stars, from Amitabh Bachchan, Ranveer Kapoor, and everyone. They have made a small film, 5-6 minute film. All the stars from South to Bengal to all Mammootty, Mohanlal, Chiranjeevi, Rajnikant, of course, and you have all these stars coming together, sitting in their homes, and they have made a movie. It was a nice effort, nice thing, but I thought the topic was a bit boring. That finding Uncle Ji ka chashma was a little. I'm sure they could have done better. कुछ और भी ढूंढ सकते थे, right? चश्मा ही क्यों अंकल जी का? So it was a pretty lame in that sense, but yeah, they were trying to give us a message. I don't know how much that message will resonate with the audiences in India. But yes, so those are the things going on. The biggest question that confronts all of us right now is what will happen to the lockdown. April 14 is some days away, right? Almost a week now. So that will complete the 21 days ka vanvas that all of us have collectively gone through. What happens after this? Already there are talks that a lot of people, lot of politicians are already speaking about how this lockdown would be extended. And to be very honest, it's a given case. There's no, I don't personally see any option except the extension, because you see the numbers are the way the numbers are proceeding, the government will not be able to open the thing. So if you see, there was a report report by the health ministry today which spoke about how a COVID positive patient has the potential to infect almost 400 patients if he or she is not quarantined. So imagine the kind of geometrically increased this whole disease can be. So given that fact, I don't think so we are gonna see the sun and feel the wind, or go to the beaches anytime soon. The big question is, how much longer will it take? Some guys are talking, some people are talking about end of April. There are some people talking about end of May. The Chief Minister of Telangana, he was speaking about how we should look at June. Some are even talking about longer periods. So what will happen? How long can we sustain this thing? I'll tell you on a personal account, my kids and all, we get very bored, and they're already after holding on to them for so long, trying to get them busy and everything. They're already cribbing about the fact that they are not able to step out, and I keep telling them again and again, this is one period of time. This is one experience that you're gonna talk throughout your lifetime about. This is something that you're gonna reference again and again with your kids. This, I'm sure people who lived through the 1918 Spanish flu must have felt something similar in that sense, that we survived the thing, we lived through those times. So this is gonna be one of those experiences. But the funny part is when I stand at the window, right, when I see couple of people taking a stroll or something, I feel very there's a sense of anger in me which is tinged with jealousy, I think so. It's like you're trapped in a jail and you're looking out of a window and you see people walking around. They must have their reasons. I'm sure they have taken all the precautions, but since you're doing this thing, it's like you don't feel happy about the fact that someone else is enjoying, right? So that is the thing. Also, some of my friends are telling me in certain parts of Mumbai, things are completely normal and usual. People are going to the parks, they're going to the streets, they're even eating Frankies and Sev Puri out there. Kachoris, Frankies, jalebis and everything is very common occurrence in some areas of Mumbai, in Kandivali, Malad side, and things are complete. And when you look at the things here, so here it's a complete shutdown. Over yesterday or something, there were couple of more cases that came. So the commissioner, the municipal commissioner, has enforced a 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. kind of a shutdown, where even the essential service, no grocery stores, no milk, nothing will be available now. After 5 p.m. everything is down, except for, I think so, medical shops are allowed. So we are having this weird duality where at one place, certain pockets in Mumbai, it's like living in a war zone. You're living in a Hollywood movie, Contagion kind of a thing, and in certain other it's completely normal and all. I guess that's the way things will be when things become sterner, and we are seeing that trend, right? Lot of the administration is getting very serious about all these aspects. So once we pass through, then all of this, then possibly we all can reflect on about what we did right and what we did wrong. How can we ensure that our behavior, our reaction to any calamity of this sort can be on an even keel. What is happening is we shouldn't be having too much of these variances, and this is what could be one of our biggest undoing. Yes, see, and this is not particular to India. Even in the US, I was seeing a couple of videos today. The way they are going to the beaches, they're going to the Central Park. They're in New York. In New York, they are going to the Central Park, the place that is the worst affected, right? You see, when Governor Cuomo is there on television, almost every day he's beseeching and pleading about the state of affairs that is there, and yet people seem to be not much. And this has got to do with two things. This has got to do with two important factors. One, there's this thing. There's this belief that is associated with coronavirus. What is the association? That this affects primarily the older people. So the young people, they are a little bit nonchalant about the way they think. Okay, हमको क्या होगा इससे? हमें तो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला. हम थोड़ा बहुत बीमार होगा, बुखार होगा, a little bit you'll feel down and all these things, and then you'll be fit and fine. And the second aspect that is there is the mortality rate is very low. So people have this belief, given the fact that out of 100, 1 or 2 people will die, the probability of you anything untoward happening to you is very low. But what the people kind of miss is that in this statistical assessment, 100 out of 2 might seem very low, but if that 2 happens to be you, it can be terrible. Or that 2 happens to be someone you love and you hold dear, can be terrible. And this is what kind of really pisses me off. I was seeing a news report of a very reputed journalist yesterday, and he was talking to one of those COVID survivors, and they were smiling. Okay, अरे कुछ नहीं होता है, 1-2 लोग ही, ज़्यादा लोग मरते नहीं. Boss, that 1-2 लोग मरना is, if it's your near dear one, it can be catastrophic, right? So we need to be conscious about these facts. This is not something to take it lightly. It's not something that we can be easy about. And this is what is kind of there's a very selfish strain which is very peculiar and visible in all of us. And this is what is disturbing. We are not considering the kind of impact our indiscretions will have on the people. And once that happens, you're just gonna sit and cry and crib and be sorrowful. So that's very, yeah, that's how it is. The more you talk about it, the more miserable you feel. Yeah. So, and in all this, the media, I feel the media is not, especially the Indian media is not. I've never been a great fan of the way television channels in India have functioned. Most of the channels right now, you can split them into 2. One that will go gaga over the government, and one that will kind of talk against the government. Though the people who can talk against the government are now very much powerless in light of the strength of the current political denomination. So the way the Indian thing. One of the things that I'm not liking this thing, and I'll be very honest with you, is all these journalists coming on channels and talking about how their families are worried and how their mothers are worried and how their children are asking them stay back at home, and yet they are going ahead and doing a service, and what a such a great effort they are taking for us. It's such a bunkum thing. The journalists that are going to these studios are doing it in, I know, I have been, I've been part of a channel setup, right? So I know how they function. They're going there in very complete comfort of cars that are arranged for them. The studios have everything arranged for them. Everything is being sanitized. Everything is being monitored. They have been food that is there's a whole battery of people that are working behind the scenes to ensure that these guys right there on the front are able to do this job. They're not doing some frontline work like those police officers or the doctors. And it completely is so stupid and silly for these guys to act as if they're doing some great service to the nation. No, they are not. Providing news, they are doing their function, they are doing their duty. It's they choose to do this. There are a lot of channels across the world. Take CNN for instance. The Indian correspondent of the channel is sitting there in the home, and they have just a couple of people who are working across all these things. These are the limitations we have, and they are functioning well, but they're not making such a brouhaha about the kind of sacrifice they are doing. I don't know why this whole sentimentality is being associated with this aspect. It's really silly. And I was also amused by what happened when the COVID virus happened. There was all these, if you remember the news item, how much time the virus stays on different surfaces, right? On metal it stays for a couple of days, on cardboard it stays for 3 days, on plastic it stays for 2 days, and then there was a news report of how it stays there on newspaper as well. So what happened? Most of the newspapers were, people discontinued newspaper. Lot of societies also. I know of many societies. They have disallowed newspapers to be delivered within their premises, and this has kind of got the whole media industry worried. So I was seeing, so there was this leading newspaper in India. They have created a whole advert about how sanitized they are, how perfectly beautiful environment they have, and they have all these people in hazmat suits getting all the deliveries, and their vans are sanitized and continuously it's not touched by human hands. And they have created a whole series just to reassure the public that no, please read our newspapers. In fact, one of the leading journalists again was talking on one of the shows, and he was asking questions to the director of AIIMS, and can you get, of all the questions that he could ask, there was one question, is it safe to read newspaper? The idea behind it was just to reassure the audience that please, the reason newspaper won, because their ad revenues go for a toss, right? The newspapers, they are completely dependent on advertising revenues. And if people stop reading, all these big companies, all the Procter and Gamble's and the Unilevers and the Patanjalis of the world will just stop advertising on their thing, and this will create a lot of financial issues for them. Yeah, so that is how the media industry in India is functioning. At one end, they're kind of either they are going crazy about something, they are vilifying a certain cluster, a segment, and they can't find anything else except that. And on the other hand, they are downplaying the whole thing. They're laughing through these statistics. They're just trying to assure all of us that things are not as bad and as terrible as they seem. Yeah, so these are how the times that we live. These are very unique aspects that we face in India, and yeah, I guess we have to live through these, right? We don't really much have a choice. The question that is again and again perturbing me is how we are gonna live through these the days ahead. Yeah, it's gonna be real tough. So I've discovered one new interesting aspect about thing is coloring. So I've borrowed color pencils from my kid, and there was a long back I had bought a coloring book, and I'm doing that thing that is very calming. I can say right now, it takes your mind off on certain things, and one of the things that it does is you see something beautiful. I guess the reason why staying inside kind of hurts us is beauty. We as humans are so accustomed to to have this kind of visuals of imagery of beauty. When we go out, we look at beautiful scenery, we look at ponds, we look at birds, we look at animals, we look at mountains. It kind of gives us a reassurance. We look at the sunrise and the sunsets. Now I guess even the sunrise and the sunsets are very precious. Forget about Goa, they will be very precious here also. So we have kind of realized the value of these small aspects that were there in our lives, and we always took them for granted. That appreciation has come in all of a sudden, from the smallest things of your life to all these things that I remember there was a beautiful poem of W.H. Davies, if you recall, what is this life full of care? We do have no time to stand and say daffodils, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So now I guess those now that we have the time to stand and stare, we are just wondering, when will we get a chance again to admire all these small things. So yeah, I guess as everyone else, we are waiting and we are bidding our time. Hopefully this too shall pass away very soon. Yeah, till then, that's about it from my end. I get back to stuff that I have to do. There are a lot of interesting things awaiting. There's a whole lot of news to catch up. There's a couple of videos that I want to sit and edit. There are articles I hope to write. Yeah, there's a lot of work on our hand. I hope you too have a lot of work at your hand. You too have something interesting awaiting you. And till then, yeah, I'll catch you again. Till then, stay safe, stay inside, and please don't roam around, because it kind of makes simple mortals like me jealous of that thing. And yeah, so don't forget to wash your hands as well. I'll catch you again. Bye bye.